Pablo Ramirez, my grandfather, was born on June 7, 1921. Soon after reaching adulthood, he was sent to train for the United States Army in 1943 in preparation for World War II at the age of 22. After 1.5 years of training in the United States, Pablo was sent to fight overseas in the 124th Cavalry Regiment. This was the last actual horse cavalry unit in the United States Army's history. Although due to the hazardous terrain in Burma, they were unable to take their horses with them, they settled for mules instead. While overseas, Pablo served in the Chinese Burma-India Theater. This was also the Allied military defense for China. Pablo trained for jungle warfare in India, which is regarded as the toughest of military combat. His regiment marched across 300 miles of mountainous terrains and jungles behind enemy lines. They fought against the Japanese in Burma. Although he qualifies as an expert marksman, Pablo was used as a mortar gunner. Before he returned to the U.S. in 1945, he was sent to train Chinese troops in China in preparation for the battles against the Japanese. He began his return to the U.S. in late November and arrived in early December of 1945. Pablo was awarded several medals for his endeavors overseas in World War II, including a Bronze Star, Combat Infantry Badge, World War II Victory Medal, and also a medal from the Chinese government. He also helped co-author the book Marsmen in Burma, which described the Army Force's daily experiences in Burma. It detailed the history of the Mars Task Force. This was the name of the group of the U.S. Army Forces in Burma. This was a combined group of the 124th Cavalry Regiment, along with another unit, Merrill's Marauders. This book was basically a daily journal chronicling the training and fighting the Mars Task Force encountered in Burma. When Pablo would write home to his beloved family, many of his letters would have to be coded, and if they were not censored, the U.S. Army would cut out the part that they wished to. Pablo had many code words that he used with his family to get across what he was. Pablo's view of the war is overshadowed by his incessant desire to return to his family. Pablo believed that it was a man's duty to fight for his country no matter what, and Pablo fought for the U.S. with as much pride as he could bolster. He wanted to return to his family so bad that he left his medals at a bus stop to quicken his journey home and didn't go back for them. He had quite a large family which he loved very much and would sacrifice anything to make his family happy. In the war, he performed his duty to the best of his ability. While many soldiers cracked under pressure, Pablo was mentally calm and composed with the leadership personality. His view of the war and a man's duty to their country was shown when he was extremely proud of his eldest son when he entered the Vietnam War, and although as a parent he was also very concerned. Like many veterans, Pablo hardly spoke of his war experiences in his service, although he was as proud as a man could be to fight for his country. After he came home from World War II, he was much more withdrawn and inward than he had been before he left for the war. He had also lost a substantial amount of weight due to the small amount of resupplying in Burma. The regiments were left hungry because there were no roads in the jungle, so the regiment could only be resupplied via helicopter every few days. Although he physically was changed, the mental scars were the wounds that would never heal and always plagued Pablo. Pablo most likely was affected by post-war traumas and/or symptoms from his time in Burma. This may have contributed to Pablo's early death at the age of 48. Although he passed away very early, he had side effects left over from his experiences in Burma. My grandfather was remembered as a kind, responsible, humorous, loving man who was always fond of a good time, especially when it came to his family of a dear 12. Pablo was a great man who was looked up to by many people and his community. When many Mexican-American veterans came home from their endeavors overseas in the war, they were largely discriminated against, although fortunately Pablo was never discriminated against, and was well respected in his community and was a very popular figure. Since Mexican-Americans face discrimination, many veterans contacted large areas of Mexican-American populations to talk of common problems and solutions to these problems. Especially after their fight for the United States in World War II, Mexican Americans wanted their rights and to be treated fairly. Many communities started civic activisms while many others went into politics to try and encourage their fellow brethren to vote and to make sure everyone knew what was going on. This comforted many people and allowed many deceased soldiers to rest peacefully, such as my grandfather, Pablo Ramirez.